Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Friday. Good afternoon and welcome. We made it to the end of the week, and your reward is 3 hours of sports talk here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, wherever, whenever you are hearing the program today, thanks so much for being a part of 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. I'm with you for the duration, provided my voice holds up. Spencer Dupuy will be along in a bit. Brendan Wrzinski is off today. We got 3 hours of sports talk coming your way ahead of Royals baseball tonight. We'll break away at 6 o'clock for pregame coverage of Game 2 of a 4-game series between the Royals and the White Sox at Kauffman Stadium. Maybe tonight the Royals will score a run. Hell, maybe they'll score 2. Wait a minute. Could they score 3? Wouldn't that be something? Or am I asking for too much? Royals shut out last night by the White Sox 2-0. They'll try and get the 4-game series back on level terms tonight, a 6:40 scheduled first pitch from Kauffman Stadium. You'll hear it right here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. So in the meantime, we have 3 hours to spend together as we go into the weekend. And yes, I've got some thoughts on that Royals game, although in reality, I don't have a lot of thoughts on last night's Royals game because there isn't much to say about that performance last night. And that is 3 consecutive offensive performance for the boys in blue as they have dipped now a season high 3 games below the 500 mark at 5-8. But I don't know if I would flat out call it good news, but maybe you'd consider it good news. I know what has to be done to fix the Royals offense. I know what has to be done. I've done the digging. I've done the research. I've crunched the numbers. I've gone through things with the fine-toothed comb, and I know what must be done for the Royals to start hitting. And I have confidence that they will not be this the rest of the season. I understand, especially early in a season, when you go into a funk early, it feels like you're never going to get out of it. And that's probably a little bit how it felt in that dugout last night, maybe in that clubhouse after the game. That, gosh, you're just in a deep one. Or how are we ever going to get out of this? Are we ever going to score another run? Are we ever going to get another hit with runners in scoring position? Good news is I think they probably will. So we'll get into that a little bit on the program today. Of course, look ahead to the full weekend slate of games as the Royals have 3 more with the White Sox after last night's loss starting tonight. It'll be a blustery night at Kauffman Stadium. We're going to get into some Chiefs talk, some interesting draft rumblings, I thought, today from the crew over at ESPN.com, Matt Miller and Field Yates specifically. And everything right now, to me, is leading to one guy I think is really coming into focus for the Chiefs at the 9th overall pick. Now, of course, they don't control their own destiny at number 9. Only team controls their own destiny in the draft is the number 1 pick. And to a certain extent, the number 2 pick because they know they're not getting Fernando Mendoza. So they get their pick of everybody else but him, and they know that. But it really feels like when you read we follow the breadcrumbs, read the tea leaves, whatever analogy you like, there's one really obvious player it seems like the Chiefs are leaning toward at number 9. So we'll talk about that. And also, if the Chiefs might consider an open box special at number 29, having 2 first-round picks. Would they take a gamble on a prospect with some health concerns? They did last year. Seems to have worked out pretty well for them with Josh Simmons. Would they take a similar chance this year? We'll get into that a bit later on. We'll also talk Chiefs with our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick. It's a Friday, so that means Matt joins us at the bottom of the 3 o'clock hour. Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. We will get his thoughts on all of the rumor mongering going on as we are now less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft. Matt Derrick, ChiefsDigest.com, bottom of this 3 o'clock hour. Also joining us on the show today, I caught up earlier this afternoon, or earlier this morning, I should say, with Zach Watkins, second-year head football coach at Washburn University. Washburn holding their spring football finale tonight. They've got a live scrimmage against William Jewell out at Yager Stadium, a 6 o'clock kickoff, and the public is invited. So go on out and see the Ichabods tonight. And if you want to get a little bit of a preview of what you might see as you wander down to Moore Bowl, Yager Stadium, to see the Ichabods in action tonight, well, Zach Watkins was gracious enough to give us some time and talk a little bit about where his team is at as spring practice winds down and what they're hoping to get out of what will be their third scrimmage of the spring, it turns out, as they play William Jewell tonight in a bit of a spring football scrimmage. Again, that is a 6 o'clock start at Yager Stadium tonight if you want to go out and see it for yourself. Zach Watkins will join us. Well, he joined me earlier today. We'll play that interview at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll also do our typical Friday shenanigans. We've got not one gotta go. We got Change My Mind and On Second Thought. We've also got a weekly champion to crown and What Is Wrong With You. We'll have our 580 Sports Talk headlines, the Masters update. G-Dub made the weekend. That's good news. All that and a whole lot more. Plus your interaction with the program today. You can give us a shout on our text line, 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us on our live chat on YouTube. Name of the YouTube channel is 580 Sports Talk. Again, that is 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. And if you are watching the program live, hop in the chat and say hello. Let's see who all is in the chat today. A lot of people in the chat today. Mark B. first on the scene. Ryan and Mark H. are in. Tyler's in. Andrew as well. Vance, Christopher. A lot of you good folks are in the chat already today. Appreciate seeing you guys. Look forward to a lively chat on this Friday. Mark B. has already noted in the live chat that my voice doesn't quite sound 100%. I do apologize for that. Sometimes in this business, you got to play hurt. We're going to grind through it until 6 o'clock, and then I don't have to do this for a couple of days. And hopefully that will be the rest and recovery that the Pipes need, that you can probably tell that they are in some need of. Anyhow, before we get to the sports, one last bit of business. Of course, it is our Win 1K a Day sweepstakes ongoing. Hear from your friends at 580WIBW.com. We are giving away $1,000 every day. And to get registered to win, you can get registered once each hour by texting a keyword to 785-272-9429. This hour's keyword is EAT. EAT. E-A-T. EAT. EAT. That's the keyword. Text the word EAT. Don't text any other information in that text. Don't put a period. Watch your spelling. Watch that you don't get got by autocorrect or that you don't make a typo. Just text the word EAT, E-A-T, to 785-272-9429. Only need to do it once. Only one text counts. And you'll be registered to win $1,000, for your chance to win $1,000. This hour, that keyword is good for the rest of this 3 o'clock hour. So if you join the show an hour late on YouTube or Facebook and you hear me give the keyword at the start of the show, this keyword is only good from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock Central Time. How about that? 3 to 4 Central Time. We've got some Mountain Time listeners. Signal carries pretty good. You might be hearing us in Northwest Kansas. I've heard us in Northwest Kansas before. That would be 2 to 3 Mountain Time for those of you who are further out in that direction. But text the word EAT to 785-272-9429, 785-272-9429. White Sox 2, Royals nothing last night. Seth Lugo was good. My guy Eli Morgan was super out of the bullpen, and that's about all of the nice things that are there to be said about that Royals game last night. There's not much more else to say about that game that you didn't yell at the TV before you angrily snapped it off, or yell at the radio before you snapped it off at some point. The guys had Anthony Kay looking like Chris Sale last night. 11 more strikeouts to the total for the Royals. They've now struck out double-digit numbers 4 consecutive games. Royals lefties in particular had nothing for K. He was trash-talking Jack Caglione after the game. The White Sox came in not having won a game in Kansas City since 2023. To give you an idea of how long ago that was, how different an era of Royals baseball that was, Jordan Lyles was the starting pitcher for Kansas City the last time the White Sox had beaten the Royals at the K before last night. They left last night tasting themselves a little bit. And the Royals left once again to wonder, where has the offense gone? And I hypothesized coming into the season that this would be a loose and confident Royals team entering 2026. Felt like they might appreciate being back in a little bit of an underdog role, having missed the playoffs last year, striving to get back, fresh off some good showings on a playoff caliber stage like the World Baseball Classic. Man, well, hand up. Looks like I was wrong on that front. I think these guys already look a little tight at the plate. And look, when you do have expectations, whether as a player or as a team, and things do go a little bit left early on, even this early on in the season. Again, this is another reminder. We are not yet at the 10% mark of the 2026 season. There's still a hell of a lot of baseball to play. But you'd like to start a little better than 5-8, certainly, if you have playoff hopes or aspirations. And even this early in the season, when you're not where you expect to be record-wise, you dig in the batter's box, you look up at Crown Vision, and your batting average starts with a 1. When you don't expect it to start with a 1, that's the kind of thing that can get in your head a little bit. And the reason that I think the Royals are tight at the plate is because of the uncharacteristic results for a lot of these guys. And I'm not just talking about, Bobby Witt Jr., who did have a double last night. He's up to 2 extra base hits on the season, but he is homerless, and it's been a minute since Salvi's knocked one out of the park, and Vinny Pasquantino's still waiting on his first home run. Like the big guns, I'm not just talking about their performance. I'm talking about the broader team-wide struggles just to make contact. It's been exacerbated these last 4 games, but this was not a part of the Royals offense last year. No, the Royals were not a good offensive team last year, but you know what else they weren't? Particularly strikeout prone. The Royals had the second lowest strikeout rate as a lineup in all of baseball last season. The Royals struck out as a team in just 18.2% of their at-bats. Less than 20% of the time they struck out. Only the Blue Jays struck out less often than the Royals did. This year, through 13 games, the Royals strikeout rate as a lineup is up around 25%, 24.7 to be precise. That is 11th highest in all of baseball. And a lot of times, it's not so much that guys are getting beat with nasty stuff outside the zone. Guys are getting beat on chase. Maikel Garcia got beat on 98 down the middle last night as the tying run in the 9th inning. Michael Garcia can hit velocity. I know he can. I've seen him do it. You don't hit nearly 300, you can't get to a good fastball. He's just late on fastball down the middle. Talked about that a lot coming out of particularly the Tuesday game in Cleveland, where it felt like the Royals had some chances in that game where they ended up losing in walk-off fashion, had some chances with runners in scoring position that went by the wayside because guys are swinging through pitches that are over the heart of the plate. And, okay, Sir Anthony Dominguez has a pretty good fastball. He's, sometimes you get beat to the spot, and that's what happened to Garcia in the 9th last night. But back in that Cleveland loss on Tuesday, guys are getting beat on 91, 93 over the heart of the plate. That, to me, indicates a team that's squeezing the stick a little bit. And their timing isn't quite right as a result. The other thing that suggests this team is tight, a lot of the bad at-bats are coming with runners in scoring position. You don't need me to tell you that if you've watched. But the numbers are really stark. David Lesky, friend of the program, had these numbers on social media today. I saw these on Blue Sky. I think he posted them on X as well. When there's nobody on base, when the bases are empty, the slate is clean, the Royals offense has the 5th best WRC plus in baseball. WRC plus, weighted runs created plus, widely accepted measure of offense. Royals have the 5th best offense in baseball by one popular sabermetric measure with nobody on base. That's, of course, compared to how everybody else performs with nobody on base. When there are runners in scoring position, would you like to guess where the Royals rank in that particular stat? I'll bet you get it right. DFL, dead freaking last. And here's an even bigger problem. The Royals aren't getting enough chances with runners in scoring position because their leadoff hitters in innings aren't getting on base. If it feels like every scoring opportunity the Royals have is coming with 2 outs, that's not far from the truth. The Royals can't get a leadoff man on to save their lives. The first batter of the inning for the Royals. And now, of course, this can be anybody. So this is a sample size that includes just about everybody, I would imagine, who's played a game for the Royals this year, who has led off an inning. The first batter of an inning for the Royals so far this season is batting 198 with a 289 on base percentage. Forget keeping the line moving. That's not even queuing up in the first place. There is no table setting happening for this Royals lineup. But the biggest part of the struggles with runners in scoring position, you can chalk it up to something mental or something that is intangible. But the biggest problem right now is that most of those at-bats, as you would expect, by design, the opportunities for run scoring at-bats are falling to the Royals' best hitters, and they are not delivering. Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and Salvador Perez have taken 53 of this team's 120 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. And in those 53 plate appearances, the Royals' 3 best hitters, or 3 of their 4 best. I think Michael Garcia has done enough to sort of join that fraternity. If he didn't do it last year, he's certainly done it by now. So 3 of the 4 best hitters for the Royals, the run producers, the guys sitting in the 2, 3, 4 spots in the everyday lineup, with runners in scoring position. Are you ready for this? This is gross. They are batting 133 with a 226 on base and a 133 slug. In case you don't track that math, that means of the hits they do have, they are all singles. Not a single extra base hit for the big guns in the Royals lineup with runners in scoring position. The rest of the Royals, that leaves 67 runner in scoring position plate appearances unaccounted for when you take Bobby, Vinny, and Salvi out of the equation. The rest of the Royals are hitting 267 with runners in scoring position with a 313 on base and a 367 slugging percentage. And look, that's not a real good on base percentage. That's not a real good slugging percentage. But when you remove Witt, Pasquantino, and Perez from a sample size of Royals hitters, what would you expect? Those are high contact, low power guys. The main power sources are the guys who aren't getting extra base hits in those spots. So, and not to beat a dead horse, or maybe in the case you think I'm refusing to flagellate a dead horse in this case. If you're wondering why I'm not in a constant state of fury about this Royals offense or demanding that Alex Zumwalt's head be delivered on a platter every single night, it's this. The 2 things wrong with the Royals offense right now are they are striking out too much and their best hitters aren't hitting. Now, time will tell if this lineup just happens to be a little bit more strikeout prone than last year's. That's certainly a possibility. Carter Jensen might be a little bit more strikeout prone than the guys whose at-bats he's taking from last year. Jack Caglione in a full season might be more strikeout prone than the guy that he's taking half a season worth of at-bats from effectively because he had half a season's worth in last year's lineup. That's possible. That the Royals this year just have more swing and miss in them in their lineup top to bottom. That remains to be seen. But the other factor is that the best hitters on this team aren't hitting. And I think that resolves itself. I think whether the hitting coach is Alex Zumwalt or you or me, Bobby Witt Jr. is going to hit. Vinny Pasquantino is going to hit. Salvador Perez is going to hit. Some of these guys have been slow starters. Vinny Pasquantino was terrible in April last year, had a career high in home runs and RBI. Salvador Perez, we know it. We say it ad nauseum. Warms up with the weather. Those guys are going to get going. And when they start firing, everything else around this lineup will probably start to look a whole lot better. And they're going to start scoring more than a run a game. Well, the math actually, if you remove the two highest scoring games this season from the equation, the 13-run outburst against Minnesota a couple Wednesdays ago, and the 8-run outburst against Milwaukee in the second game of the doubleheader last Saturday. Take those games out of the equation. The other 11 games this season, the Royals are averaging just over 2 runs per game. They're going to get past that number once Bobby starts leaving the yard, once Vinny starts squaring it up, once Salvi starts making harder contact, and those things are going to happen. The back of the baseball card doesn't lie with these guys. But where I share the frustration is there does need to be some urgency. There was an opportunity that has presented itself for the Royals to put some early distance between themselves and the other team in the campaign. You think the Royals are off to a rough start. Detroit would love to have one extra win. But there's a chance, or was a chance, for the Royals to look at the team that I still expect to be their primary competition in the American League Central and put a couple of games worth of distance between them early. And that's a chance that so far they have missed. But as soon as the big boppers get going, and they will, they're too good not to, things are going to look a lot different. Just would be nice if it happened tonight, because it's been hard to watch the last 4 with this Royals offense, the last 3 in particular. We'll take a timeout. We'll get your reaction, 785-272-9429 on the text line, also the live chat on our YouTube stream. Matt, Derrick, Chiefs Digest, coming up in just a little bit. We've got Zach Watkins, Washburn head football coach, at the bottom of the 4 o'clock hour. Some Chiefs talk, some Masters talk, some more Royals talk. It's a Friday. We're going to have some fun here at 580 Sports Talk. .330 on 580 Sports Talk. Thanks for being here on this Friday. A lot of frustration with the Royals. I'm feeling it in the live chat on YouTube. Carl asks, what do you think about these Royals trades? These new guys can't hit or field very well, in my opinion. Yeah, tough start to the Royals' careers of Lane Thomas, Starling Marte, and Isaac Collins. At least Collins is kind of getting on base. not hitting 6 of 35, but he has drawn 6 walks. Thomas and Marte have not done what they were brought to the team to do yet, which is hit right-handers. Another rough outing for Thomas last night. Had talked about that's why he's here, to spell Kyle Isbell against left-handers, be a better offensive option than Isbell against left-handers, and that has not panned out. So, yeah, a really rough start for the newest members of the Royals. Thomas and Marte, of course, free agent additions. Collins came over in that trade with Milwaukee. But, yeah, new guys have not made a particularly good first impression here in the early going. Other thoughts on the live chats? Christopher mentions that the Royals did change their power structure. Maybe that's not the right way to put it. They overturned a lot of their hitting coaching staff in the offseason. Alex Zumwalt was retained, but Keone Duran was let go. They brought in Marcus Timms, the veteran hitting coach, and Connor Dawson, who's a local kid. He's from the Kansas City area, and he'd been with the Milwaukee Brewers as part of their hitting coaching staff. That's another reason I'm not really calling for anybody to meet the chopping block 13 games in. There are some new voices in people's ears, and maybe some adjustments that are being made that are taking some time to set in. But no, it hasn't been promising, and needs to be a little urgency to get right. Can't give away games to the White Sox in April. Can't win a pennant in April, but you can give one away. And I think that the Royals still haven't done quite enough losing where I'm entirely ready to say that they've done that, but some urgency on offense definitely warranted. Andrew thinks they need to change the lineup. Says they need to move Vinny and Salvi down the lineup. Problem is, who are you moving up? That's the issue there. I mean, it's one thing to say, oh, these guys aren't producing. You don't want to see them bat as often. Okay, well, who are you going to bat more often than Pasquantino? Are you going to bat Isaac Collins and his 595 OPS cleanup? You going to bat Kyle Isbell cleanup? I know Isbell's hot, but ask yourself this. Who do you have more confidence in when you see them at the plate? Even in a down period, even in the midst of a slump, you think Sal's going to come through, or do you think Isaac Collins is going to come through? Do you think Vinny's going to get the hit, or do you think Kyle Isbell's going to get the hit? Now, I've heard of teams that have been in such bad funks, they draw the lineup out of a hat. There have been teams that have done that over the history of baseball. I don't think the Royals are quite down that bad, but boy, if they don't start scoring some runs against what is not a very good White Sox pitching staff, came in with an ERA well over 5 as a team, but they looked like the 95 Braves last night. So obviously, something's got to get better there. Texter from the 785 says, I was at the game. It was rough, but I do recommend that short rib corn dog. I did not know. I guess I missed all of the additions to the concession menu this year. I missed the short rib corn dog. That does sound like it goes crazy. I'm not a big corn dog guy, to be honest with you. I never been one of my favorite snacks, one of my favorite treats. I don't know why that is, because generally I kind of like food on a stick. It's very convenient. But I was never a big corn dog guy. But you tell me there's a short rib corn dog. Yeah, I'll try that. I think I can get in on that. We'll take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. On the other side of this timeout, we're going to pivot, talk a little Chiefs. Matt Derrick is our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com. And we're going to get his thoughts on the latest Chiefs news, notes, and rumors. Matt Derrick joining us after we take this break. You're listening to 580 Sports Talk. We go to Kansas City for our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, who joins us every Friday at this time on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. You can check out Matt's work at ChiefsDigest.com and check him out on all forms of social media by just searching for his name, Matt Derrick. Matt, how are we doing on this Friday?
Hanging in there, Dan. How about yourself?
Yeah, you can tell my voice is hanging in there by about a thread,
I was gonna say.
maybe half a thread. But hey, we got we're gonna play hurt. Sometimes you got to play hurt in this business. Matt, Reuben Bain coming in for a top 30 visit for the Chiefs this week. They met with him at the Combine. Bain spoke publicly that he had met with the Chiefs during the Combine process. For the Chiefs to bring him in for a top 30, is it more gamesmanship or genuine, legitimate interest in the prospect? Because I don't believe they've had any more guys that have come in who are projected top 10 picks, unless I'm missing one. Bain is about the first, isn't he?
It depends. I mean, we don't know for sure. I mean, we have the reports about who's coming in for 30s, and they've been having more, maybe top half of the draft picks than have been, in previous. So I think they've had Arvell Reese perhaps in, Bailey's been in for a visit, depending on who you hear from. Jordyn Tyson. I mean, they've had some big, big bold names, and it also certainly feels like that they're getting some edge rushers and receivers in for the most part, which I think gives you a pretty good indication about where they may be thinking about that ninth pick. Unless there's any gamesmanship involved here, but it certainly looks like that for the most part, Brett Veach is exhausting his option when it comes to the premium positions at the beginning of this draft.
Less than 2 weeks out of the draft, how complete would you say that a team's draft board is? Like a team like the Chiefs, especially, they got 2 draft picks, so they got double the legwork to do on potential prospects, I suppose. But how complete is the process by this point? How much more are you really going to learn in the process, or watching more tape, getting more pro days? How complete is the process with 2 weeks left before the first round?
Generally, for Brett and his staff, it's pretty complete at this point. Last year might have been a little bit of an exception because they went right down to the wire with Josh Simmons. I mean, by my recollection, I think they had a Zoom with him on Tuesday before the draft, even as just their final check-in and everything. And it can depend on the player. Remember, I don't think that they had, like Trent McDuffie in for a visit at all in 2022. They just knew that was a guy that they liked, and weren't really planning on the ability to draft him since they didn't have a top 20 pick. Then when he falls, they made the move to go get him. Not sight unseen, but they barely had any conversations with him. They just knew enough to be able to draft him, and they felt pretty comfortable with that. That's what these 30 visits that the Chiefs have normally used them for. They use them obviously a little bit for guys that they may draft early in the first round. They're not used to being at 9. So I feel like they're bringing in maybe more first round picks than we've seen normally, but they use these a lot for red flags, to come in, to bring guys in and just say, hey, wait a minute, this guy maybe had a problem in college, or maybe there's an injury we need to exhaust and learn more about. They'll use it for that. They'll also use these just for undrafted free agents, guys that maybe they didn't get to see a ton of in college, or don't have a lot of hands-on experience with them. I just wanted to come in and maybe just learn a little bit more about them, maybe build a relationship there. But this year, it's definitely more of the guys that they may end up picking, and having that ninth pick makes a big impact. But and you mentioned Bain specifically. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty significant one, because this is starting to feel maybe a little bit like Josh Simmons. There's been a lot of contact with Reuben Bain, it sounds like, and from all indications I've heard, that the Chiefs are clearly big fans of Reuben Bain.
Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com is our guest. He's our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline, as he does every Friday at this time. Chiefs had their local prospect workout earlier this week, had a chance to bring in players with local ties, either, colleges that are considered local, or players who have maybe a local high school tie. Of that list of players, there's a lot of players that maybe aren't on a whole lot of draft boards. There are a handful of players who you would expect to hear their name called in the draft. Probably most notably Sam Hecht, the center out of Kansas State, who's regarded maybe as the best center in this draft. So anybody that the Chiefs maybe worked out that was a local prospect that might be worth keeping an eye on a little bit further down the draft for the Chiefs?
Yeah, there's a couple, and one for sure, Kevin Coleman, the receiver from Mizzou. It does seem like there's been a lot of contact there with him, and I can understand that because Coleman's coming in. He's a speedy guy. He's a juice guy, and he can return kicks and punts, plus play a little receiver, and that's obviously something that the Chiefs have struggled with the last few years. Their most reliable return specialist has been Nico Remigio, and his best attribute is just consistency and performance. It's not necessarily the electricity and the ability to break off a big return, but he's just, you're going to have the ball at the end of the play every time when he goes back there. But he also hasn't given you much as a receiver. So I could see them trying to maximize that spot on the roster, at least by having a guy that, hey, if he can return kicks and punts and do both of those things well, and he can give you a little bit of receiver too, I can see why the Chiefs might be interested. I'll tell you what, the name that I was hoping was going to be there and I was most intrigued by was Jalen Daniels, who it might be a late round pick, but could go undrafted. With the Chiefs having gone in the direction of Justin Fields for their backup quarterback, I think Daniels would be a really intriguing player that kind of pairs a developmental piece, because I do think there's a lot of athleticism there you could take advantage of, and not just as a gadget guy. I think there's, this is an offense in which I think he could really grow and maybe mature as a quarterback.
Last year, you mentioned the name Josh Simmons. He was the 32nd overall pick. Chiefs took him last year. There was some concern about his medicals. He was coming off a really difficult injury, the patellar tendon. Chiefs felt comfortable with what they saw. They took him. They took the risk. I think they would say it paid off pretty well. They found a guy who I think they believe is going to be a long-term answer at left tackle. With that in mind, at number 29 this year, there are some prospects that are going to be potentially on the board that late in the draft if their medicals drop them. Guys like Jordyn Tyson out of Arizona State, the wide receiver. Guys like Caleb Banks, the big defensive tackle out of Florida, has had some concerning medicals. Would the Chiefs maybe take a gamble on the traits again late in the first round, considering they already have a first-round pick and the number 9 overall pick? Do you see another scenario where the Chiefs try to get a little bit of value, maybe the open box special, as it were, on a player who dealt with some injury issues in college with that 29th pick? Is that a spot where they might roll the dice a little bit? Or are they looking for maybe something a little bit safer at 29?
Gosh, I love that analogy, Dan. I'm going to steal it for the future. Open box specials. That's fantastic. And it's interesting you mentioned those two names, because I think that, Jordyn Tyson and Caleb Banks are almost two examples of guys going in the opposite directions. We're hearing a lot of buzz now that, Jordyn Tyson, a few days ago was hearing like, hey, we're seeing people mock draft him maybe to the Chiefs at 9. And now you've got stories, maybe there's going to be a team that wants to trade up to get him in front of the Chiefs. And, and Caleb Banks, I'm seeing, kind of maybe fall into the second round. And that's the thing, we don't have all the information about these players and their medicals. The teams do. And that's why you do see some of these players just go in different directions. And maybe Caleb Banks is being kind of the Josh Simmons of this year. He's the guy that maybe is going to drop. Maybe there'll be another guy that, falls back because of the injuries. It could certainly happen to the Tyson, but at this point, it sounds like he's the guy that maybe, hey, teams are feeling pretty good about, or at least most teams are feeling pretty good about. So he's going the opposite direction. But I do think that, hey, the Chiefs get the player that they want at 9, particularly in a premium position. I think that might make them more comfortable about maybe being a little bit open to taking a gamble at 29 and not feeling like that they have to absolutely hit on that at a premium spot, that, that they can maybe take a risk on a guy who has some questions. I think they know at that point that they're going to get second round value, but, do you take a chance on somebody who might really hit? I mean, and another guy that they've had brought in, Caden Proctor, the offensive tackle from Alabama. That's a guy that a lot of people are split on. Some people are like, hey, this guy is going to be a beast. And there's others who are like, nope, this guy is so big that he's going to break down. people were torn on him. But, hey, maybe that's a guy that if it falls to the right spot, the Chiefs, maybe you jump all over that. Maybe Caleb Banks is that guy. If he's available at 29, you take that chance, especially if, that's a guy, once again, really fits what the Chiefs need. So I think it could go a lot of different ways. And even at 9, there's so much that could really, happen in front of you. And in this draft that, if you're Brett Veach, you don't feel totally comfortable with who's going to be available at 9 for you.
Couple more questions for our Chiefs insider. Matt Derrick writes about the Chiefs at ChiefsDigest.com, joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. What is the earliest you could see the Chiefs drafting an offensive lineman in this draft? And do you think it's possible, on the flip side of that equation, that if they like who they have on hand, they've spent a couple of years now developing guys like Hunter Norzad, those types of guys. They got Esapole some game action last year, and we're happy to get him back after he had slipped through waivers the first time. Is there a world where the Chiefs maybe don't take an offensive lineman, even a project offensive lineman, on day 3, which is something they favored doing in recent years?
Yeah, I think the earliest that I could see them, I think is 29, and that would be for a right tackle. That you're going for the future there. You have Jalen Moore for this year, and just like last year, the Chiefs signed Jalen Moore last year to be their left tackle if they didn't come up with a better solution. And obviously they liked what they were able to get in Josh Simmons and drafted him, made him the starter. They still ended up having to use Jalen Moore, and he's kind of going in the same spot this year as the right tackle, unless there's a better option. There are some mock drafts out there from some big name prognosticators who seem to like the Chiefs taking a tackle at 9. I can't imagine. Once again, you're going to be able to knock me over with a feather if the Chiefs do that, because I think they just have other needs. And offensive tackle is actually a fairly deep, I think, position group in this year's draft. There's going to be a talent available later on. So 29 is about the top. You alluded to it. The Chiefs, not only have they drafted, reasonably well on the interior of the offensive line, but they've signed guys. So, they've got all their own draft picks that are starting left to right guard and center. They've got a guy that they drafted in Hunter Norzad that they like as being their next guy up and swing for all 3 of those positions. They brought back Mike Caliendo at a cheaper rate. So they feel pretty good about what they've got. They've got 5 guys that they trust on the interior of that line already. So I think I'd be surprised if they drafted interior linemen. It wouldn't be a stunner. But I think they're definitely coming out of this draft most likely with a tackle at some point. And if it's not 29, then I think it'll still be fairly early in the process.
Has there been any indication that the Chiefs weren't pleased with what they saw from Jalen Moore last year? Because that's the only thing I can figure. If they draft a right tackle at 9, they're not drafting him to sit. You're not going to draft somebody at number 9 and not play him unless it's a quarterback. And obviously the Chiefs aren't going in that direction. So is there any indication the Chiefs weren't thrilled with Jalen Moore or don't think he's starting caliber? Or is that kind of wish casting from, as you mentioned, some of those big national mock drafts?
I think I think you're right there. I think it is almost with the national prognosticators. They're projecting a Chiefs pick of offensive tackle at 9. It's just that they see Jawan Taylor leaving and they don't really recognize Jalen Moore. And maybe that's that the national people just don't think much of Jalen Moore. The Chiefs loved him. No, there's no indication. Everybody that I've talked to in that organization, front office and coaching staff, really pleased with what they saw from Jalen Moore. And they felt like, hey, if he got right tackle all to himself and wasn't bouncing around and got to prepare there for the entire season, they feel like he's going to be really good. Obviously, the catch is that he's signed for 1 more year. And then you don't have a solution for 27. That's what they would love to draft for. That's why, hey, if they end up with a tackle that they like, that's ready to start now, they're willing to do that. It's not a deal breaker. They're fine with that. And if Jalen Moore becomes their swing tackle, again, they like to be in that situation where they've got plenty of depth at that spot. But it would be more about, if they take a tackle early in this year's draft, it's more about 27 and beyond. Because if you think of it, especially if they draft a tackle in the first round, you're literally talking about an offensive line now that you could conceivably have together and signed and keep together until this team moves to Kansas. So, I mean, this is a group that you can see together for 5 to 10 years.
Matt Derrick covers the Kansas City Chiefs at Chiefs Digest, ChiefsDigest.com. He is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Joins us every Friday to talk all things Chiefs Kingdom. Matt, we always appreciate the time. We'll do it again next week.
Sounds great, Dan, and get better, my friend.
I'll do my best. Thank you very much. That is Matt Derrick. We'll take a timeout, come back, and wrap up this opening hour of 580 Sports Talk with On Second Thought. Well, on second thought, like I said at the very top of the show, I thought that the Royals would carry some good vibes coming into this 2026 season. And instead, this has felt very much a piece of their April from last year, where the bats were just about non-existent. The pitching staff's trying to carry the whole load and keep the thing afloat, but so much you can do. And pitching staff can't go win you a game if you don't score many runs. And look, Seth Lugo's not the problem. Seth Lugo, 3 straight really nice starts out of the gate. Royals did give up an unearned run last night there in the 7th that made it 2-0. Hard to find a lot of fault with the starting pitching right now. So this falls on the offense. Just like last year, it was a slow start last year. This has been kind of a slow starting offensive team in the last couple of years. And you could argue that did they ever really start? Well, yeah, I mean, they were the 11th best offense in baseball in the second half of last year, which I know 11th best, raised the banner, but that's a sight better than they were in the first half of last year. And you were hoping you could take some of that momentum into the start of this season, some World Baseball Classic momentum into the start of this season. And that obviously hasn't happened. But again, I said it before, the beauty of baseball, there's always a game the next day to get it started turning around. The Royals will have another chance tonight against the White Sox. 6 o'clock pregame, 6:40 first pitch here on 580 WIBW. Coming up at the 4 o'clock hour, we'll talk a little more Chiefs. Some interesting draft tidbits from the ESPN staff today that leave more breadcrumbs, leading to, I think, one guy who's starting to emerge as the favorite to be the number 9 overall pick. Plus, we'll hear from Zach Watkins, Washburn football coach, next hour on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2, 580 Sports Talk on this Friday afternoon. Thanks so much for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and of course, live in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you until 6 o'clock tonight. Royals baseball follows. 6 o'clock pregame, 6:40 first pitch. Royals try and even up the 4-game series against the Chicago White Sox. It'll be Chris Bubich on the mound. Hopefully he can have a cleaner start to his outing than he has been experiencing in his first 2 this season, and find a way to put out those 2-out fires that he could not seem to extinguish in his last outing against the Brewers. He'll be matched up with Chicago's Davis Martin tonight. Again, pregame coverage at 6 o'clock, first pitch at 6:40 here on 580 WIBW. Coming up this hour, we're going to talk a little Chiefs football, some draft thoughts from Matt Miller and Field Yates on ESPN.com today that I thought were particularly interesting, raised a couple of questions, and I think things are starting to point not all the way conclusively. Like, I wouldn't go bet the farm on this, but I think there's a pretty clear leader in the clubhouse as far as where I think the Chiefs are going to go number 9. Plus, we'll have a What is Wrong with You? We'll crown a weekly champion, including another listener-submitted story today. And we'll hear from Zach Watkins, the second-year head football coach at Washburn University. I caught up with Zach earlier today. They've got a spring game tonight. Their final spring practice is a spring scrimmage out at Yager Stadium, so you can go check it out. Out at Yager Stadium tonight, Washburn playing against William Jewell. And we got Zach's thoughts on the spring to date and what you can expect to see if you go out and check out the Ichabods tonight. You should.
They're doing something cool. They're playing an actual team.
Right.
Like, that's cool. I shout out to them for doing that.
Apparently, that's a fairly recent rule change, and they explored the possibility of doing it last year, but they couldn't get their ducks in a row in time. A lot of programs couldn't. Frankly, it was a pretty new rule, but this year they were able to do it. This is actually going to be their 3rd scrimmage of the spring, but it's their first one out open to the public out there at Yager Stadium. So go check it out. Spring football for the Washburn Ichabods. We'll hear from Zach Watkins. I talked to him earlier this morning. He's kind of busy right now. They got about 2 hours until they kick things off there. So he's a little busy at the moment. But I did talk to him earlier today to preview the spring finale for Washburn football. Still got headlines, some Masters talk, a little bit of baseball still to come on the show today as well. You can interact with us on the program. 785-272-9429 is the number. That is 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us on our YouTube live chat. Again, the name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. Hop in the chat, say hello, interact with your fellow hosts, and your hosts and your fellow listeners, and help grow the 580 Sports Talk community. So we appreciate those of you hanging out with us in the live chat today and those of you who are texting the program. Spencer.
I appreciate everybody asking about me. My name was, I wasn't even here. I was mentioned like 4 times in the chat before I got here.
People were looking forward to you being here. And now you have a really big responsibility because I don't know how this happened, but my keywords are missing. I can't find my keywords. So we got the Win 1K a Day sweepstakes, where every hour I give you a keyword and you text the keyword to 785-272-9429. You have until the end of this 4 o'clock hour Central Time to text the keyword, and the keyword is I don't know because I don't have the keywords in front of me. But Spencer, you have a copy of the keywords in front of you. So what is the Friday 4 o'clock keyword today?
Act. A-C-T. Act.
Act. Act. As in the Royals offense better get its act together. A-C-T. Act is the keyword. So go ahead and text the word act. Nothing more than that, okay? Just the word act. A-C-T. To 785-272-9429. You have until the end of the hour to do it. And if you do it, you'll be registered for your chance to win $1,000 today. We're giving away 1K every day here on 580 WIBW. I hope you win. You, specifically, listening to this. I hope you win the $1,000. Act is the keyword. I don't know where my keywords went. I really have a little bit troubled. Somebody stole my keywords. So Well, Spencer, you handled the responsibility with aplomb like I knew you would. So no worries there. Before we get into some Chiefs talk, we have to follow up. we have to follow up our conversation from yesterday at this time regarding potato salad. We went to my wife and we did go to McAllister's last night, which is a deli that has potato salad. And I asked them when I was picking up our to-go order, you guys put egg in the potato salad? And they were very confused. Number one, that anyone would ask. And number two, they weren't sure off the top of their head. Wait, do we? I don't think we do we? They don't, for the record. That establishment in particular does not put egg in their potato salad. But it's good potato salad. So I think now definitively, we have both spoken to the primary culinary authorities in our lives. Yeah. Speaking, of course, of our own mothers, right? So you reached out to your mom on this. What did she say about potato salad?
So long story short, I had texted girlfriend Olivia about it and about the whole segment. Like it just turned into like a mini segment within a segment yesterday. And she was like texting her work friends and they were like, I didn't tell you this part. One of her work friends, like they specifically buy it from the store as deviled egg potato salad. Like you can buy deviled egg potato salad.
Okay.
But then I called my mom and she was like, well, you can make it with both, but our family only makes it with, but like not eggs. That's why
without eggs.
It's ours is always just white. It's just, the inside of the potato. With
Sure.
Yeah, it's not yellowish.
So I texted my own mother and asked her, and she said some people add it. I don't. Depends on the type of potato salad, but she typically doesn't add egg to her potato salad. So I must have been gaslit into believing that all potato salad had egg somehow down the line. I'm not sure how that happened to me, but I think broadly, there was a consensus yesterday among our listeners that egg in the potato salad was preferred.
They're saying McAllister's is even wrong.
Well, take that up with them. They got good potato salad. Whatever they're putting in is good. I don't need to know the ingredients. I just know it yum in my tum-tum. But I guess it is perhaps maybe a more regional thing that I had anticipated. At the end of the day, there is no wrong way to enjoy your potato salad, except if you put raisins in it, in which case you should be tried at the Hague.
Yes, I agree with that.
That is one of the worst things I've ever heard of. But egg or no egg, I will try your potato salad. I want to be clear. I'm backing off. I was a bit strident on Wednesday, and I'm backing off of that a little bit. I will try your potato salad if you do not have eggs in it. Don't go crazy with the celery. Okay, I don't need too much celery. Don't go crazy with that. But if you do put eggs in it, I'm probably going to like it a little better. That's my preference. Anyway, we can now set aside potato salad gate.
Yes.
On the program today. We just needed to make sure that we got the final word in on that. Anyway. So Matt Miller of Field Yates emptying the notebook today over at ESPN.com. Kind of a what we're hearing. They do a column fairly frequently during the offseason. Matt Miller and Field Yates, particular draft guys, they put out mock drafts fairly frequently. And this is among some of the things that they are hearing. They were asked for a bold draft prediction. And I thought that both of these were interesting. Matt Miller's bold draft prediction is that Arizona State receiver Jordyn Tyson will take a draft day tumble outside the top 20 picks. His hamstring issues are concerning for teams, causing him to miss 3 straight games in November. He also had 8 drops in 2024. Teams I've talked to like Tyson's juice as a route runner and his production, but the injuries and drops are causing him to slide behind Carnell Tate and Mekhi Lemon on the receiver board. It's even possible Omar Cooper out of Indiana gets picked before him. So that raises this question, because we talked to Matt Derrick, and he had noticed some of the same things we were noticing in Mock Draft Wednesday, where we've seen a couple of mock drafts the last couple of weeks that had Tyson going number 9 to the Chiefs. That might be the ceiling for Tyson in the first round, but maybe the floor is a little bit lower. So let's throw this hypothetical out there. Let's say the Chiefs go defensive end at number 9. And they still have not addressed wide receiver. They do not address wide receiver number 9. Whoever they take it at 9, it's not a wide receiver. If Jordyn Tyson is on the board at 29, that feels to me like the no-brainer of no-brainers for the Chiefs. And I come back to the Chiefs had a comfort level with Josh Simmons coming off of the patellar tendon injury last year in the draft. And we're willing to sit and wait for him and use a first-round draft pick on him. And they're willing to let him, work through the injury and however much he played was however much he could play. And I think they were pleasantly surprised he was able to get in and start week 1. And he played at a level when he was on the field that suggests that the Chiefs were right to make him a first-round pick and to trust him with the blind side of Patrick Mahomes for the future. But there was a gamble. It was a gamble based on the injury history. And talked to Matt Derrick about this in the 3 o'clock hour. The thought of there being some players that might be available at 29. Caleb Banks is another one, the defensive tackle from Florida. As far as wide receivers go, the Bell kid from Louisville, whose first name I'm misplacing, I think it's Chris. But Bell from Louisville's coming off an ACL. Tennessee cornerback Jermod McCoy's coming off an ACL, although he is tested so well that I don't think anybody's worried about his injuries. Would the Chiefs be more willing to take a swing at a guy who maybe doesn't have the cleanest injury history at 29? I think the answer to that is yes. And I think the reason that the answer to that is yes is because they have the pick at number 9. And because they know they're going to walk out of the first round with somebody who's a nailed-on day 1 blue chip starter with that number 9 pick. I think if they get around to number 29 and somebody who really fits at area positional need, but maybe doesn't have the cleanest medical history, is there, I think the Chiefs might be willing to take that chance. They took the chance on Josh Simmons and were rewarded. Why wouldn't you take a chance on Jordyn Tyson at 29? Now, I'd be shocked if he's there at 29. But I'm just, in hypothetical terms, maybe it's not him, maybe it's Caleb Banks. Maybe it's Chris Bell in the second round, early in the third. Do you take a chance on a player who doesn't have a clean medical history if the traits are what you're looking for? And I think that the most recent draft history for the Chiefs suggests that that's a real possibility, that they might really have the chance to add that high level of talent, because that is what the Chiefs were missing last year, were high-end players. They had a bunch of guys who were good or fine, but they did not have a lot of blue chippers, right? Like Mahomes is the blue chipper of blue chippers at quarterback. They've got, arguably the best right guard in football and maybe the best center in football, but those are not guys that you think of as like playing blue chip positions. Chris Jones is a difference maker, game changer kind of player. Other than that, the Chiefs have just lacked those guys with those high-end athletic traits that allow you to be a game breaker. And if the Chiefs have access to somebody like that at number 29, even if the medicals are a little bit iffy, if Rick Burkholder gives the thumbs up, if that Chiefs training staff says this is something we can work with, I don't see why you wouldn't take that swing at number 29. I think you'd be more comfortable doing it knowing you've got the 9th and the 40th pick than you might be if number 29 were the only pick you were going to make in day 1. The other bold prediction I thought stood out to me from this ESPN.com article. Here's Field Yates' bold prediction. Miami edge rusher Reuben Bain will go outside the top 12 picks. Bain is an exceptional player, and there's no shortage of teams with a pass rush need to pick in the first 12 spots. But he is going to be an outlier in the first round as the first edge rusher with sub 31-inch arms to get picked there. There are some scouts who are skeptical of a team taking an outlier super early. The teams that could take a chance are the Saints, Chiefs, and Bengals, picks 8 through 10 respectively, but there's a chance he's still there in the teens. I am starting to think, and I don't know if there are betting or futures or prediction markets on this kind of thing. So if there are, and they're already saying this, I plead ignorance, total ignorance. I think right now you have to consider Reuben Bain the favorite to go number 9 to the Chiefs. And the reason I say that, he's not the number 1 edge rusher on the board. That's Arvell Reese. He may not be number 2, depending on who you ask. There are some people who are going to have David Bailey ranked above him. I think I'd rather have Bain than Bailey, but you could argue you could argue otherwise, I think, in a compelling fashion. But the Chiefs met with Bain at the Combine. They just had him in again for a top 30. Edge is obviously, I think, even bigger than wide receiver, the biggest need that the Chiefs have. That's not to say they don't really need a wide receiver, but edge is the need. The Chiefs did not impact the quarterback, impact the other team's passing attack enough in 2025. If they want to get back to winning, that's something they have to really do. I think they want to take edge early. I think that's the direction they want to go at number 9. I think it sounds like Bain is going to be there. My gut is telling me right now that that's going to be who the Chiefs pick at number 9. Am I hallucinating? Am I reading too much into the tea leaves here? Do you think, Spencer, or do you kind of have that feeling like Bain really might be the pick for the Chiefs, fit what they're looking for, fit who's most likely to be on the draft board at their spot, and be a guy that the Chiefs obviously have a fondness for in this pre-draft process?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough for me because I think my team could pick Bain ahead of them. Like, there's just I think the Commanders hold a wild card because they have a lot of needs.
So I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that there are teams in the top 9, top 8 before the Chiefs pick that also need edge rushing help because you never have too much.
Yeah.
Is that the biggest need for Washington, do you think, or is their biggest need in the secondary?
It's between the two, I think. So it's just who's ever there, right? Like, I think there was time about a month ago where I thought maybe Jeremiah Love falls there, and they're going to be saying, yeah, we'll take a running back that we can have to pair with Jayden Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he gets that far now, and I think it's a defensive minded first pick for them, which then changes the draft behind them because a lot of the teams behind them need defense as well, or are leaning defense from what the mock drafts say.
Is Bain a guy that what are you aware of as far as Washington having met with him?
I don't know if they have, but I haven't seen
it.
I'm not in like I was before.
Right. And to be clear, that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, the Chiefs didn't meet with Trent McDuffie and they took him in the first round 4 years ago. Like, you don't necessarily have to meet with the guy to take the guy. I do think that's probably the most interesting pick in the draft ahead of Kansas City when it comes to what direction that could send the Chiefs in, because you could also convince me that Washington might look at a wide receiver to pair with Terry McLaurin.
Yeah,
at number 7 overall. So
I just think there's such a wild card
mm-hmm.
that it determines where everything goes. Because if the market precedes it, or if it precedes it, like I said, the Chiefs like Mansour Delane. Yeah. I think the Commanders could go that way.
Yeah. What if they take him, or what if they take Downs? What if he's there at 7 and they take him to anchor the secondary?
But also if Tate's right there and you want a guy that you can set up for 4 to 5 years with Jayden Daniels, heck yeah.
So I think that's actually a really interesting question that you've lit upon, which is kind of what's the swing pick kind of in the draft that might dictate the Chiefs how they go about it, what their process looks like. But I do think you could definitely argue that it's Washington there at 7, that they could have the biggest impact, or it's Tennessee at 4, because there are a lot of mocks now suggesting they're going to take Love that they're going to go for the running back out of Notre Dame. If they don't, then all of a sudden Love is lingering there as a guy like, well, could the Saints think of him as somebody they want to pair with ETN and move on from Alvin Kamara? Washington could be a fit for a running back. Obviously, the Chiefs are no longer a fit for Love. So
I've just heard too much.
Love goes off the board. That's not really a concern to the Chiefs. They prefer that he were off the board before number 9 comes along.
Yeah, so, I just that's not me being like a Commander's homer or anything, or a guy that loves that, is
now, when have you ever been a Commander's homer on these airwaves, Spencer? Who's ever accused you of such a thing? Anyway,
I just think that their pick really impacts right behind them because they could go in 5 different directions.
Yeah, I think those are the 2 most interesting picks. I do. 4 and 7 probably have the biggest impact on what direction that the Chiefs might end up going. And to that point, to finish the thought here, Matt Miller wrote later on in this column at ESPN.com today, Kansas City is a confusing team at number 9 for a few reasons. The roster has many needs at core positions, such as wide receiver, right tackle, I don't know about that, defensive end, defensive tackle, cornerback, and safety. Any of those spots could be the pick at number 9, depending on how the board falls. And that's the second part of the issue with accurately predicting the team's first pick, which pass rushers and wide receivers will still be there. Would Kansas City pivot to Spencer Fano if it doesn't like anyone on the board at pass rusher or wide receiver? The variety of options available to general manager Brett Veach makes this a tough prediction. And I agree with that. I think it's very hard to sit here and predict which player the Chiefs are going to pick. But gun to forehead here, if I had to make my prediction, I think the breadcrumbs are leading toward Reuben Bain. As it stands right now, less than 2 weeks before the first round, I think the breadcrumbs are leading in the direction of the edge rusher from Miami. We'll take a timeout here at 580 Sports Talk. We'll come back with What Is Wrong With You, and then we'll hear from Washburn head football coach Zach Watkins ahead of their spring scrimmage finale tonight against William Jewell at Yager Stadium. That's coming up on 580 Sports Talk. What is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? We've got 2 new stories to bring you today. Try to take down our current weekly champion, the Gator Boys, 250-somethings who happened across a dead alligator on the side of the road in Florida and thought we should get this stuffed as a trophy of sorts and strapped it to the roof of their car and we're driving around with it, which you cannot do in Florida or probably anywhere, really. But they
Probably.
got like for real laws against this in Florida on the legal side. The illegal killing, possessing, or capturing of alligators or other crocodilia or eggs. That was the charge both men were arrested and charged with. 2 new stories today. I'll go with mine first. This one's submitted by a texter from the 785. Good shout. We always appreciate user submissions for what is wrong with you. This one takes us to Irvine, California, where a man was arrested after police say he demanded free gas at a station in Orange County. We're not thrilled with the gas prices right now, are we, folks?
Nah.
It's a little rough. It's rough out there. I don't do a lot of driving in my own car. My wife's car is kind of the get around car for the family. I take my car to work and back. Effectively is about how far I drive mine, but drive up and down that hill every day past that Sam's Club, seeing that Sam's Club price go up around $3.50.
Yeah,
that was a punch to the gut, brother. Wasn't well. I don't think I've ever seen it that high, and I've been living here, off and on since 2016. So, yeah, gas prices. We're not loving what we're seeing. I think collectively we can all say, yeah, that blows. Anyway, this gentleman, where he's in Irvine, California, where it's even more expensive there than it is here. The Irvine Police Department released body camera footage of their encounter with the man last week. They say he walked into the gas station, demanded $55 in gas, and refused to pay. He then decided to camp out at the station, waiting for his free gas. You'll never believe this, but it did not arrive. The man told officers as he sat inside his car, quote, "I sincerely believe that money as a unit of payment is not real."
What?
The department said in an Instagram post, "Our officers deployed their expert patience and negotiation skills, trying to get the man to leave while navigating a debate over whether money is real." Officers ended up handcuffing the man and hauling him off in the back of a police cruiser. I want $55 in free gas because money is fake. Money isn't real. That's crazy. Where does that come from? What kind of fringe lunatic belief is money isn't real? Money is a social construct. Like, where does that come from? Well, that's wild. Anyway, that's my story today. What have you got today, Spencer?
Yeah, we're gonna go to Florida. A Florida woman tore up a Subway restaurant because she was, quote, upset about the peppers on her sandwich and demanded the new one, police allege. After placing an online order, I'm Unique Clark, 33, picked up her sandwich at Subway.
I'm sorry?
I'm Unique Clark. That's her name.
Folks, that's spelled I''MUNIQUE.
Yep.
Wowzers.
She picked up her sandwich at the Subway near her St. Petersburg residence. She used her Sub Club rewards, which apparently is a new Subway reward system. I didn't know they had a reward system. So the chow was free of cost, according to the arrest report. Shortly after, she came back into the store and was upset about the peppers on her sandwich and demanded a new one, a detective reported. A Subway employee told Clark her sandwich was made how she ordered it online and that new grub would not be forthcoming.
So the customer's not always right?
Yeah.
I guess not. Okay.
In the wake of the hoagie denial, Clark pushed a cash register and printer off the counter. She then reached into the sanctity of the cookie display
and cookies.
Threw multiple trays of baked deliciousness into the floor, resulting in 37 cookies hitting the floor, by the way.
Oh, no.
Clark's Subway rage was recorded by store security camera, and the defendant used her own real name and phone number when placing the order. Arrested Wednesday for the incident last month, she was charged with criminal mischief. She bonded out after a $500 on the misdemeanor count. Shocker, she has previous rap sheet here. She was convicted of grand theft for stealing merchandise from a department store in 2023. She was arrested for slashing her children's father with a butcher's knife, but prosecutors dropped the felony case against her.
Yeesh. Look, I'm Unique is an all-time first ballot what is wrong with you name,
Yeah.
regardless of whether this story wins or not. We will never forget I'm unique, Clark.
I'm unique.
That's incredible. One word with an apostrophe and just the one capital letter at the beginning. Unbelievable.
Her parents didn't want her to be unique. They wanted her to be I'm unique.
They wanted her to be I'm unique. Yes. I got to say, though, if I order something online and you give it to me and I check it and it's not up to what I was hoping for, I would kind of think you would, address that situation. Say, hey, this isn't what I ordered. And I don't understand. I don't think she needed to destroy a bunch of cookies about it.
No, yeah.
But I understand her being pretty frustrated, maybe wanting to speak to a manager. I kind of feel her frustration here.
I just think both parties could have gone about it a different way. I ordered a submarine sandwich from a submarine sandwich shop in the area. I'm not going to name names because they're pretty good otherwise. I ordered a wrap, and in this wrap, I ordered 2 sauces to be in there. And they didn't give me one, and they gave me a variant of the other one. I called, and I said, hey, just got back here about 10 minutes, I'm already wasting time into my lunch break. And the guy took it off. Hey, I'd never bought it. Like, he gave it to me for free. So there's ways they can go about it.
Yes, I think there certainly is. Because I don't think she was entirely in the wrong to be upset, even though I think she handled it extremely poorly. I'm going to lean with the guy who said, I want free gas because money's fake.
Yeah.
Money is a social construct. I'm going to lean with that guy today. That's a tough one. Him or the Gator Boys?
I got to go Gator Boys, man.
See, it's one of those where the words paint a picture, right? Like you see these 2 yahoos driving down the road. I could not even imagine driving the opposite direction. These people, even if it's on the highway, is that an alligator on the roof of that car?
No way.
I'd about drive into the median. I'd be so shocked. Just not something you can do under any set of circumstances. So yeah, the Gator Boys are going to be our champions for this week on What Is Wrong With You. We'll take a timeout here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, my conversation with the head coach of the Washburn football team, Zach Watkins, is next. .441 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer with you. Tonight at 6 o'clock out at Yager Stadium, it's the spring finale for the Washburn football team. Their final scrimmage of the spring. They're taking on William Jewell, a spring game that's actually a game. Imagine that. And you can go watch it out at Yager Stadium tonight at 6 o'clock. Earlier today, I had a chance to catch up with the second-year head coach of the Ichabods, Zach Watkins. Here's that conversation. Speaking now with the second-year head coach of the Washburn Ichabod football team, Zach Watkins, ahead of the spring game tonight. And it's a game with William Jewell in town. Tell me first, Zach, how did this come about, and what are you hoping that you gain from the experience of the game setting here in this spring game tonight?
Yeah, the game kind of came about just from the relationships, you have in coaching. And the William Jewell coach and I go back a long ways. He was a head high school coach, so we used to recruit his players. And then he got the William Jewell job. And a few years ago, Division II passed that you can play somebody in the spring. And last year we weren't able to because we just got the job and just got here. It was kind of hectic, but we planned it where we can time our spring ball up at the same time, and they're going to come over, and it'll be kind of an NFL style practice. So the first half will be some drills and fundamental work, and then the last half will be a full live tackle scrimmage. And there's just no better way to evaluate your young team and transfers than playing live tackle football. So we're going to make sure we do that.
What would you say broadly you've been the most pleased with when it comes to how you've seen your team develop over the course of this spring so far?
Really just the year two development. And it sounds kind of cliche, but this time last year, guys were figuring out the system. Coaches were moving here. I was figuring, how we wanted to run the program. So year two, you're going to see a big jump in hopefully the scheme knowledge and playbook knowledge, but also the expectations and the standards that we practice and we conduct ourselves by. So I've been really pleased with how the transfers have mixed in. The older veterans have become better leaders and obviously better players. And so I just think there's a much more cohesive team, family atmosphere, and then just overall football production than year one.
Let's talk about your quarterback situation. You've got some quarterbacks vying for the job, some newcomers at the position. How is that competition shaking out, and what should we expect to see from your signal callers tonight?
Yeah, as you know, quarterbacks are the hardest position to play in all of sports, but especially college football. And we have a really talented quarterback room. We have 4 different quarterbacks on our roster who have started MIAA games. Some started a couple years ago. 2 different guys started last year. So the competition and the knowledge is there. And so we have, we're developing our scheme, and the best kids are going to play. And we're not going to name a starter after spring. We'll go through the summer and see who kind of develops and leads. But all those guys are dual threat guys. They can throw it, they can run it. They're all tremendous students and leaders. And, you have to have that in the quarterback room. And when your quarterbacks are your hardest workers and your best leaders and the team gravitates around them, you have a chance. And obviously last year's record and production wasn't as high as we needed it to be. So the spring production and competition has been really, really good in that room.
Zach Watkins is our guest. He's the head coach of the Washburn Ichabod football team. They play their spring game tonight against William Jewell here in Topeka. I know you have talked, Zach, about wanting to get better. Certainly everybody wants to get better on the offensive line, but also need to get a little bit bigger, a little bit bulkier in the trenches. How is that process ongoing, and particularly with some of the new guys that you brought in at that tackle spot this year that you hope can really bolster your front 5?
Yeah, our strength coach and I met over winter break and kind of devised our plan for spring lifting and spring training. And we created a group of just some of those guys, some of the guys that needed pure weight and strength development. Obviously, the whole team trains, but the O-line and D-line specifically to add lean muscle mass and kind of create an individualized program for them. And that's been a tremendous addition to our program. We brought in some transfers on the O and D line, so have really gotten bigger and longer at those spots. And then the kids we've recruited in high school, some of the kids are redshirted last year, but also the incoming freshmen in this class that'll be here in the fall are just the tallest, longest, best O-linemen that we've brought in a long time. So our entire O-line from last year returns outside of 2 guys. And that's, it's really encouraging that the places we struggled at last year and the inexperience is now a year older, a year better, and should be a much, much improved system.
Another position at which you've had some changes and some new faces in is the wide receiver group. Tell me a little bit about how those players are developing and shaking out, and how important the development of that position is going to be as the quarterback competition continues.
Yeah, receivers are they're what make the game exciting, right? I mean, they score the big plays and they make things happen. And we didn't have a ton of production outside of a couple guys last season. We had some guys transfer. We had a couple guys move on with injuries, and so we brought in some transfers. We have a really talented freshman class that redshirted this year, and then another incoming freshman class as well. So when you can bolster our receiver room like we did with the transfers and really get taller and more explosive at that spot, along with the tight ends and the returning guys that we have, our receiver production should be way up this fall, but it may be spread out amongst multiple guys.
Again, we're speaking with Zach Watkins. He is the head coach of the Washburn Ichabods, entering his second year at the helm of the program. Their spring game is tonight against William Jewell. It's a home game for the Ichabods here in Topeka. Over on the defensive side of the ball, you've obviously got some well-established leadership coming back on that side. How important is that, particularly in this modern age where you have the transfers and things like that? How important is it to have the continuity that you have in some of the leadership spots on that defense?
Yeah, that's huge. And, being a former linebacker myself and being, hopefully the defensive leader, which the linebackers normally are, to get J.C. Hine back and to get everybody else that started last year on defense. We've got starters at each level, defensive line, linebackers, safeties and corners that are back. And yeah, like you said, when you have a good season, sometimes there's transfers and guys, moving in and moving out of your program. But to have so much continuity on that side of the ball, and Coach Cook and his defensive staff and the scheme they run and how well they coach it, our defense can be really the backbone of our team this fall. And with the returners, those are the guys that'll make it go.
What is, in your mind, in your observation, the biggest difference in year two of running your spring practice as opposed to what it was like in year one? What is the most different for you as you approach this and as you have players that have been through one of your camps, maybe know a little bit better about what to expect?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've talked to a lot of people about that. A year ago, we were in the middle of our first spring ball as a staff, and coaches had just moved here from wherever they were. Players had just gotten here, and a new coaching staff took over, and there was new expectation and different ways of doing things. And so there was a lot of learning last spring that's not going on right now. The staff's not moving here. The schemes aren't being installed for the first time. The coaches aren't learning to work together for the first time because we did all that. So when you can remove all that external responsibility and all the stuff that you had to get done and now just focus on the coaching and the football acumen and football IQ and the standard of how we practice and how we train and how we hit the training room and all those kind of things that help are just accelerating in year two. And we're very urgent in how we approach things. We're very intentional in how we jump from year one to year two in a positive way. But when you remove all the off-the-field stuff that was necessary to do year one, moving into year two, it just accelerates learning and teaching.
What ultimately is the goal for tonight's spring game? Are you looking for something close to some final answers, some clarity about some of the more important position battles, or is this really about just guys getting their feet wet a little bit, maybe learning how to play with each other, seeing how they handle different kinds of game situations, and just trying to end spring on a high note? What are you as a coach hoping that you accomplish tonight?
Yeah, this will be our last practice. This will be our third scrimmage that we've done this spring. And, we grade every practice and we grade every scrimmage and we critique and we coach everything. And so this is, like you mentioned, the final evaluation piece of, hey, if you can play against a good Division II team in William Jewell, can you play in the MIAA next fall? And some guys will show that they can. Some guys will show they need to keep improving. But you can't do that unless you play a game-like atmosphere. And but yeah, we also have to kind of figure out coaching-wise, who do we trust? Who do we know can get it done? Not just making plays in the football field, but who can, make the adjustments that we make and then take those on the field and then enact those. And so there's just no way that practice can simulate a full game. And that's what tonight is going to hopefully feel like. And we've got so many new players and transfers that we'll do our normal pregame, and we'll do our tailgate walk, and we'll do our pregame everything. So the next fall is not the first time that we've done it. So using this as a game for on-field evaluation, of course, but also just the external factors of how we get prepared for what a Saturday game day will be like in the fall.
You're going to have a heavy contingent of potential high school prospects that are at this game. What are you hoping to put forward to those prospects to show about your program, the kind of program you are, the kind of program you want to be, and to make your program look more attractive to those potential future Ichabods tonight?
Yeah, and obviously with recruiting, that's one of our edges. We feel like the way we recruit and how we treat kids in the recruiting process and the communication with coaches. And I just think that's a really big thing that will lead us to where we want to go in this program. And, Washburn's a beautiful campus. It's a tremendous school with tremendous people. And you just have to get kids here on campus. And no matter if that's a transfer kid or a high school kid or a high school coach or the parents and families, if people get here, they're impressed. And so the academics and the buildings and the people and the athletic facilities and hopefully the game itself all lead to a recruit and families and people thinking, hey, this is a great spot to go to school. It's close to where I'm from. It's a tremendous opportunity to play. And if that works out to be on this team down the road, then great. But we just feel like we get people here at Washburn, and Washburn's going to sell itself.
Zach Watkins is the head coach of the Washburn Ichabods, their spring game tonight against William Jewell here in Topeka Yager Stadium. Zach, appreciate the time. Best of luck at the spring game tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us on 580 Sports Talk.
Yeah, Dan, thank you very much. Thanks for all you guys do. Really appreciate it.
Again, that was Zach Watkins. I talked to him earlier this morning. Their spring game starts in a little over an hour, 6 o'clock out at Yager Stadium. The Ichabods will play William Jewell. Go check it out. Go get a look at year 2 of the Zach Watkins era at Washburn. We'll take a break, come back, and wrap up this 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. .455 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer here. Still a little change my mind. Spencer, you got one today?
Change my mind. You can't put eggs in potato salad.
No, you can put eggs in potato salad. It's
You
quite good.
can't. It's disgusting.
No, it's not disgusting.
Eggs in potato salad are disgusting.
See, you've gone all the way back around now to, I don't like hard-boiled eggs. Well, wait a minute. If they're putting them in potato salad, they must be good. And now you've discovered that, no, that was never the case. And so now you're all the way back around. Hard-boiled eggs are bad.
Yeah.
And that's your loss. That's your loss. More of that kind of potato salad for me. The objectively superior kind of the two potato salads. But they're all good. Again, the only thing you can do to ruin a potato salad is put raisins in it.
Okay.
When I heard about putting raisins in the potato salad, I became homicidally angry. I don't remember who it was that threw that out there, but it was the worst thing I ever heard of. If you Google raisins in potato salad, is the first thing it fills out, at least on my computer, which might mean it's just listening to me talk about potato salad. But apparently that's a Scandinavian and German thing. So we have them to blame for that particular idea. Changed my mind. Rory's going to repeat at the Masters.
I can't, man. I mean, looking at what he's done the first 2 days, he's just playing free and easy, right? Like it's off, the monkey's off the back, and he's just like, you know what? I don't have anything to be worried about because I've won the Masters. Let me just go play as if I don't have to worry about actually getting a green jacket because I have one.
I think only 3 people ever have repeated at Augusta. McIlroy's got a 1-shot lead on 15 right now. We'll get you more of a look at the Masters leaderboard coming up in the final hour of the show today. Also, look ahead to the rest of your weekend in sports, including the 3 games the Royals have left with the Chicago White Sox. Game 2 of that series tonight, 6 o'clock pregame and a 6:40 first pitch. We'll look ahead to that. We've also got the rest of our 580 Sports Talk headlines as well. And we'll have fun with the final hour we get to hang out together this week on a Friday here on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Final hour of the day, final hour of the week here on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you until 6 o'clock here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. We are with you until 6, at which point the Royals Baseball Network takes over. Pre-game coverage from the K ahead of tonight's 6:40 first pitch between the Royals and the White Sox. The Royals, losers last night, 2-0. They've dropped 3 straight and have scored a combined 3 runs in those last 3 games. Really hard to win when you score 1 run a game. You go through a stretch where you do that. That's hard.
It's hard to win. It makes it even harder when your pitchers have pretty good outings.
Yeah, that's the frustrating part of it, is that one of those losses has been 2-1, and one of those losses has been 2-0. Like, yeah, nothing you can do. You give up 10. Sometimes just be like that. But yeah, the loss last night particularly frustrating because you got a good outing from Seth Lugo. But
and the bullpen.
Yeah, bullpen did their job. There was an unearned run. Yeah, Eli looked good last night. He's throwing that bullet slider to righties or lefties.
5 scoreless, right?
He's 5 scoreless in 2 outings. He's throwing that slider down and into the lefties and getting some swings and misses on that pitch, which is really good to see. I'm telling you, he and Brian Sweeney have a working relationship back there, both in Cleveland together. And I think he's in an organization that's equipped to get the best out of him. So I'm pulling for my guy, and I'm glad to see him off to a good start, and hope he sticks around a while. I know that eventually guys are going to come off the IL, but hope Eli sticks. He's had 2 really, really good multi-inning relief outings for this club. So that was maybe the positive, maybe the only one out of last night. We appreciate your thoughts on the program. Get at us on the text line, 785-272-9429. You can also interact with us in the live chat. It's been a very vibrant live chat today on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Appreciate everybody hanging out over there. Again, the text line is 785-272-9429, and you're going to need that number to text this hour's keyword. And again, I don't have them, Spencer. So what's the keyword? 5 o'clock Friday.
Good. Good. Good.
Good. The keyword is good, as in it would be good if the Royals could score more than 0 runs tonight. Good. Text the word good. Just the word good to 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-9429. That is the number. Text that word, and you will be registered for a chance to win $1,000. You're giving away $1K a day every day this week, and the next 3 besides. $1K a day from your friends at 580 WIBW. Once again, that keyword is good. Good. Rory just birdied 15. So he is up to a 2-shot lead over Patrick Reed at the Masters. We'll hold Masters discussion for its own segment. We'll go to up and down the leaderboard a little bit. Good news is Gary Woodland is going to make the weekend. The cut is going to be 4, and Gary safely inside the cut. Tough day for him. Shot a 3 over 75, but a 2 over. He is going to make the weekend in his return to Augusta, so that's great to see.
What about the Wichita native?
Sam Stevens going to make the weekend. He was 2 over 74 today, but that leaves him also at 2 over for the week. So that will get him to the weekend. Davis Riley is not going to play the weekend. A little 82-80 for Davis Riley in his second career Masters start. That's tough. When the pros are out there throwing up 82s and 84s, it really makes you wonder, like, how poorly would this go for me and my weak-ass golf game if I tried to go out and I played it straight up, right? Like, I'm not improving my lie. I'm not playing a breakfast ball. I'm just going out there after a little warm-up, and I'm playing 18 at Augusta. My score is going to look like a radio station. It's going to look like one of those radio stations that's high up on the dial.
Hey, you know who didn't though?
It's going to look like it might be a country 106.9. It probably higher than that. If we're being honest.
My fellow Leesburg, Virginia native, Michael Brennan, first time at the Masters. I think his second major tournament at the age of 24. He shot 1 under today after he was par yesterday. So his first 2 rounds ever at Augusta at the Masters, he's 1 under par, and he's going to make the weekend.
What, like it's hard? I'm sure that's his thought on that. What, like it's hard? Oh gosh, did my guy Akshay bogey? Oh my God, he doubled 18. He's going to miss the cut.
Well, hey, you know who's not going to make the cut? Bubba Watson.
Yeah, there are a lot of good. We'll save this for a little bit later on in the hour. But yeah, there are a lot of good players aren't going to play the weekend. But Gary Woodland is going to play the weekend, so we'll get into that. We've got some Royals talk to get to. The Bard has weighed in. We're certainly going to get to that. We got some headlines, and we'll go ahead and we'll start there actually with our 580 Sports Talk headlines this hour, and we begin with news that made Cody Campbell mad today. The Big 12 football weekday selections were released. We know which games will be played on Fridays, or in one case, a Thursday night on the Big 12 football schedule this year. First note, for the first time since 2022, K-State is not playing on a Friday night. So the last couple of years, there have been Friday night games. There have been overseas games. There have been neutral site games, all these things for K-State. And now they finally play like a straight up college football schedule. 12 Saturdays, 7 of them at home, no service academies, just Saturday is game day for the Wildcats. I think that will serve them well. I think that's a good thing. I think fans probably appreciate that.
Oh, they appreciate that, and especially for first-year head coach Colin Klein.
Yeah, so no Fridays for K-State. There is a Friday for Kansas. It's an early one. The Border Showdown at the booth is being moved.
Half-attended booth.
Half the booth. The booth. Or maybe the I got to be really careful with that. The game in Lawrence between Missouri and KU will be played on Friday night, September 11th. No word yet on the network there. The network assignments haven't been made yet, but the Big 12 has decided they'll put that game on a Friday night. So Mizzou and Kansas in Lawrence, originally scheduled for September 12th. You'll have to alter your plans if you want to be there for the Border Showdown. And maybe if you're on the other half of the stadium, I don't know, bring a lawn chair or something. I do kind of wonder how it's going to work out.
I wonder how much they're going to be able to get done, though, because from the original thing, what I saw is the lower section.
Could you just park on the top level of the Oriad parking garage and just get a pair of binocs and just watch the game for free?
I mean, probably, but doesn't it cost to get in that parking lot?
Yeah, it does cost to get the parking lot.
You're spending some money.
Probably cheaper than it might have been. To
Unless you park somewhere else and walk up with your chair and just sit there.
You get a room at the Oriad and watch it, make sure it's field facing, get your binocs. I guess it depends on how far along the construction is, what your vantage point would be. But anyway, Mizzou and KU will play Friday, September 11th. The other Big 12 weekday games, that Houston, Texas Tech game that Cody Campbell was all riled up about, getting moved to a Friday. It got moved to a Friday. Houston at Texas Tech, Friday, September 18th. Friday, October 9th, Iowa State will play at BYU, so that'll be a late night for Cyclone fans. Friday, October 30th, Baylor at UCF. Friday, November 6th, TCU at Arizona. Friday, November 13th, Houston at Colorado. Friday, November 20th, Iowa State at UCF. And then the final weekend of the season, a Thanksgiving night game for the Big 12, TCU at Texas Tech. That's 2 games that Texas Tech has moved out of Saturdays, although they can't complain that one violates the sanctity of high school football in the state of Texas, at least. And then Friday, November 27th, Big 12 has had a Friday game the last couple of years on that week as well. They'll have another one, West Virginia at Utah. So Kansas State kind of stands out as not getting a Friday game. But I do wonder, again, you can make requests for these kinds of things. And sometimes, as Cody Campbell has told us, those requests get ignored. But I do wonder if Kansas State was like, look, we've had our schedule yanked all over the place the last few years. We've played Fridays the last 2 years. Could we not have a Friday this year? Could you just give us a year where we don't play a Friday? We played Friday 3 straight years. Can we not have a Friday this year? And maybe the conference was willing to be amenable there. But that is the adjustment to the Big 12 football schedule. Again, Kansas's home game against Mizzou, the Border Showdown, has been moved to September 11th. It'll be a Friday night kick and not a Saturday kick. Spencer, next headline.
Yes, we have more announcements from Casey Alexander as he continues to build his staff. He's adding 2 veteran coaches as assistants. He announced that this afternoon. John Cooper and Phil Cunningham. Cooper and Cunningham joined the staff as assistant coaches following the announcement of fellow assistant coaches J.J. Butler, Karan Johnson, Luke Smith, and then yesterday we announced that they had their program's first ever GM, Sean Rutiliano. I got it right that time. The 2 coaches added today or announced today have significant experience, including multiple stints as head coaches of the Division I level. Cooper won 102 games in 8 seasons at Tennessee State between 2009 and 12 and Miami, Ohio between 2012 and 17, while Cunningham won 84 games in 7 seasons at Troy from 2013 to 19 and ULM this past season. Cunningham was also a head coach at the NAI level at Sue Bennett College from 92 to 95. If you hear the name John Cooper and you wonder, why does that name sound familiar? Because he's a KC-Mo native, and he started at Wichita State from 1989 to 91. So a state tie on
Sunflower State ties.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Continuing to add to the staff. What they have not done, at least to this point, is add to the roster. Another one of Alexander's former players has committed elsewhere. Trying to get the kid's first name right. Yeah, I know his last name is Orm, and he's going to Nebraska. It was Sam Orm, the 6'9" sophomore forward. He's going to Nebraska, and he's not coming to KU. There are some reports that Drew Sharnowski, who is a player that Kansas State really wanted to follow Alexander from Belmont, rumors are out there now that he might be swayed to go play at Vanderbilt instead, that K-State actually has a little bit of competition for him where maybe it didn't feel like they might earlier on. And it gives rise to the idea that after the big money guys kind of got burnt a little bit by the last couple of years of Jerome Tang, they might be a little bit tighter on the purse strings for Casey Alexander in year 1. You know, if you're such a player development guy, let's go develop some players. Let's see this work in concept, not just in theory, before we open those purse strings back up, because we took a bit of a bath in the Jerome Tang era. Kind of feels like that's what's happening right now with Kansas State, although, of course, that perception could change with a couple of well-timed commitments, and maybe Kansas State gets some things done through the weekend.
We've got breaking news from a former player on the K-State team.
We do? Go ahead.
Yeah, PJ Haggerty
is already committed.
He's already committed. This is going to be his 5th school in 5 years.
Yes.
He will be going to his home state of Texas and playing in the SEC for Texas A&M.
Texas A&M. All right. Look, Haggerty was honorable mention All-American. He's a good basketball player. I don't know how much he impacts winning, I guess is the gentlest way to say it. I think he's a guy who is a bit of a compiler more so than he's somebody who makes his teammates better. I don't think he's that kind of playmaker. I think he's a playmaker for himself.
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
maybe not a playmaker for others.
Just about 4 assists a game.
And I think that, like, I don't know a whole lot about, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know anything about Texas Tech's roster or what they got coming back. That's Buckyball, right? That's old Bucky McMillan out there at Texas A&M. So, you know, they're going to play fast, and Haggerty will, I think, appreciate that part of the scheme. But think also he'll appreciate the opportunity to see if he can't score a bunch of points and get to the line a bunch. He might end up with the all-time leader in free throws attempted in NCAA history by the time it's all said and done. He's got a real chance at that. So PJ Haggerty to Texas A&M. That's an interesting note there. Does that count as another headline for you?
I guess I just opened up Twitter and saw it.
Well, that was good timing. Let's do some NFL headlines here today. We have one trade that went down earlier today to tell you about. The Packers sending wide receiver Dontavian Wicks to the Philadelphia Eagles in exchange for a 5th-round pick this year and a 6th-round pick in 2027. Wicks will sign a contract extension with the Eagles worth 1 year and $12.5 million. Wicks was drafted by the Packers out of Virginia. He was a 5th-round pick in 2023. So spent the last 3 years in Green Bay with the Packers as their 3rd wide receiver. Last season in 14 games, caught 30 passes, 332 yards, and 2 touchdowns, has over 1,300 receiving yards and 11 scores in his 3-year NFL career. NFL writer Mike Tanier on Blue Sky said that he has hands like knees.
What is that supposed to mean?
Means his can't catch. Means his hands function. The full text of the post: athletic fellow, hands like knees. He would go on to refer to him in another post as Droptavian. So,
is this an accredited writer?
Yeah, Mike Tanier is a longtime NFL writer. Used to write for Bleacher Report, New York Times, Sports on Earth. Does his own thing now, but yeah, he also points this out: the fact that the Eagles have now added 2 wide receivers this offseason, Dontavian Wicks and Hollywood Brown.
3.
Who's the other?
Elijah Moore.
That's right. They did add Elijah Moore. Well, that would certainly seem like it makes it a lot easier to trade a wide receiver, potentially. Yeah. So keep an eye on those A.J. Brown rumors. And speaking of A.J. Brown rumors, one source of A.J. Brown to the Patriots rumors is not going to be doing any reporting on that or anything else in the near-term future, as The Athletic has sidelined NFL insider Diana Rossini as they further investigate the photographs that she appeared in with Patriots head coach Mike Vrabel. The quote from an article from Page 6: new details from the Page 6 report and information from the investigation raised additional concerns that are now being reviewed further. The investigation is ongoing. Her coverage is being reviewed. That process is expected to take time. She will not be reporting in the interim. It's really hard not to feel like she just blew up her career. And, or let me rephrase. It's really hard to believe that her career isn't over, whether she intentionally blew up her career or participated in something that she knew could blow up her career. That is maybe an entirely different ball of wax, but it is very possible that her career is now in tatters because of these photographs and what they depict, what they purport to depict. But yes, she could not be on the beat filing stories about
A.J.
Brown to the Patriots or anything really. Like, here's what I'm hearing about Cameron Jordan's market. No. We have questions about where you heard that and who you heard that from and what y'all were doing when you heard it.
I mean, look, she is. I don't think they listen to every single thing she does, but now that I think every single thing she said is now under a microscope and they're on X and clips. She literally told a podcast, I don't remember who it was, that she deliberately gets information from the Eagles front office to piss off her husband.
She did say that.
Yes. In other words, not the exact quoting. Oh, that was said on a podcast. I'm paraphrasing what was said on the podcast, but there's clips out there.
Yeah, she got some loose lips, man. She's very out there free with some information that is now being used to incriminate her a little bit. So there's that NFL headline. A couple of other NFL notes as we wind down headlines. The Atlanta Falcons naturally picked up the 50-year contract option on running back Bijan Robinson, and the Colts and slot cornerback Kenny Moore have mutually agreed to seek a trade and a new home for the veteran cornerback. Moore is entering the last year of his deal. Both sides feel it is time to explore a trade. I'd pick up the phone if I were the Chiefs. I'd see what it might cost. Kenny Moore is a true slot cornerback. Like, no question about it. This is a guy that you play in the slot and he gets results. 21 career interceptions for Moore. He's been a Pro Bowler. He's getting up there in years. He'll be 31 by the time training camp rolls around. One more year on his contract. Let me see if I can't figure out the contract details on him. But if you were really looking for a slot cornerback, and it would be a $13 million cap hit for 2026 for this coming season. $13.1 million cap hit. Base salary of $9.49 million. And then there's 3 void years on the back end. For the Chiefs, and you're not 100% sold on either, not Kendall Fuller. Who's it they got now? Fulton, Christian Fulton.
Yes.
If you're not sold on Fulton or Kader Kohu as a slot cornerback, and you really want somebody who can just stick in the slot, plug and play, I make the phone call. I see what it might cost. I poke around. If it's too rich, if they're looking for, I can't imagine they're looking for much. Honestly, they might be looking for this 4th round, 5th round pick. I think I might do it. Honestly,
Yeah.
Like that would make a lot of sense for the Chiefs because I don't think they have a true slot guy right now. And I think Kohu coming off of injury, if you don't draft somebody high, you're bringing in a developmental project as a draft pick this year. Williams on the outside, Fulton on the outside, Kohu on the outside, and then if you could plug Kenny Moore into the slot, yeah, I would do that. I would take that flyer if I were the Chiefs. Most certainly. We'll take a time out here on 580 Sports Talk. When we come back, we'll tell you what's going on at Augusta. It's all Rory as the second day of 4 in the Masters winds down. You're listening to 580 Sports Talk. 5:32 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan and Spencer kicking it with you as we wind down the work week. Royals baseball pregame at 6 o'clock. First pitch at 6:40 tonight. Royals and White Sox, game 2 of a 4-game set. It's Masters weekend. And Rory McIlroy, after chipping in on 17 for birdie, now holds a 5-shot lead going to the 18th here on Friday. He is 11 under par. He has gone 5 under on the back 9. He birdied. He started it with a bogey on 10, but he birdied 12. He birdied 13. He birdied 15. He birdied 16, and he just chipped in from the fairway. His approach had come up short on 17. He chipped in for another birdie. So 3 straight birdies coming in down the stretch, and the defending Masters champion, Rory McIlroy, sitting at 11 under par, 5 clear of Sam Burns and Patrick Reed. Justin Rose, Shane Lowry, Tommy Fleetwood, bunch of jovial Team Europe sorts. Those are the guys kick our butts in the Ryder Cup every other year. The Rose, Lowry, Fleetwood, all 5 under. Group at 4 under includes Wyndham Clark, Tyrrell Hatton, Hao Tong Lee, a gentleman I definitely heard of before today, Christopher Wrightan, Jason Day, and right now Cameron Young, who's also on 18 along with McIlroy. Group at 3 under, Chris Gotterup, Brooks Koepka, Ben Griffin, and Hideki Matsuyama. Max Homa, Jake Knapp, Xander Schauffele, 2 under. Lot of red numbers going to the weekend. It was a much more forgiving course today. There's a chance it gets a little nasty over the weekend and gets a little tougher to play, but there were a lot of red numbers and players going into the 60s today at Augusta. Your boy, Lynchburg's own Michael Brennan. Leesburg. I'm sorry. Leesburg's own Michael Brennan. 1 under par for the tournament, shot a 71 today, tied with Nick Taylor, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Colin Morikawa, and Russell Henley at 1 under par. Notables at even par include Scotty Scheffler, who shot a 74 today and is going to find himself staring way up at Rory McIlroy this weekend. He was, of course, the betting favorite. Also at even par, my pre-tournament pick to win it, Ludwig Oberg, who shot a 70 today, was better on the back 9, but a long way to go to fulfill my prophecy and get me to 4 consecutive Masters outright winner picks correct in a row. So looking grim for your pal when it comes to my Masters prognostication this year. Good news, got her up top 10 is hanging in there. Jason Day top 20 looks great. Little concerned. Actually, I'm not concerned about Akshay Bhatia top 20 because he's going to miss the cut. Other players right now at even par, Harris English, Dustin Johnson, Patrick Cantlay. Players at 1 over par, Jordan Spieth, Sungjae Im, Sepp Straka, Victor Hovland, Sam Stevens, the pride of Cape and Mount Carmel in Wichita. 2 over, shot a 74 today, but that's going to be enough for him to make the cut in his first Augusta adventure. Also at 2 over par, Gary Woodland shot a 75 today. He was 1 under coming into the day, got to a double on 2 that took him into the green numbers, the black numbers rather, and never able to get it back under par on the day. Did birdie 18 to give himself no worries about making the cut. That birdie on 18 got him to 2 over for the week, and he will be well inside the cut line, 2 over par. He'll play the weekend at the Masters. Keegan Bradley, Adam Scott, Justin Thomas, also 2 over. Players at 3 over include Sergio Garcia. Players at 4 over include John Rahm, your pick to click, who at least shot a 70 today.
Hey, you turn around day to day. You got to start somewhere.
He did. He made the weekend, so still got a chance.
Not with Rory playing the way he is, though.
He's still got it. Well, he's only got to make up 15 shots. Also at 4.
It's almost the whole round, buddy.
It really is. I know. I'm giving you a hard time. Kurt Kitayama completely had the wheels fall off today. He ended up shooting I'm going to do the math on this, 79. He was 3 under at the turn and ended the day 4 over. So not what you want, but that's going to just sneak in, it looks like, as the number 4 over. Meaning these players are slamming the trunk and going home. Bubba Watson, 5 over. J.J. Spawn, 5 over. Zach Johnson, 6 over. My man Akshay, 2 under at the turn, and then completely went to hell. Had a chance to make the cut, double bogeyed 18. Akshay is not going to make it the top 20. He's not going to be the top left-handed player in the tournament. I wasted your money there, and I do apologize. Akshay Bhatia, 6 over. He's out. Bryson DeChambeau. He can go get a quick 18 in with Trump this weekend if he wants, because he's not making the cut. He tripled 18 to miss the cut. He was comfortably inside the cut line. He was 1 under for the day, and then he tripled 18. Hey, bozo, it's almost like playing those stupid wedges and those 3D printed clubs you play are a bad idea. Maybe somebody should tell you that. Maybe somebody should get in your YouTube comments and tell you what a dumb idea that is. Playing 3D printed wedges that are as long as his irons, and his short game stinks. Oh, wow, what a shock. I can't believe he's got the worst short game of any, serious major contender. He's playing those dopey wedges. Our guy Bobby Mack, who flipped the course of the bird and got caught on film saying the F word and was apparently reprimanded by the folks there at Augusta. He doubled the first, but turned his day around, shot a 71. Unfortunately, he shot an 80 the day before, so that is not going to make the cut. Bobby Mack, 7 over par. It's a lot of names you haven't heard of and former champions that you get further down here. Fred Couples, 9 over. Jose Murillo Thobel, 9 over. Mike Weir, 10 over. Vijay Singh, 10 over. Minwoo Lee, the chef, not cooking up anything this weekend. He goes 78, 77. He misses the cut.
Did you see 2009 Masters champ? Is it Angel or Angel?
Angel Cabrera?
9 over today.
Yeah, tough one for him. I think that might have been the worst round of the day. Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think his 81 was the worst score of the day today. Davis Riley gets the last place finisher medal. They don't give a medal. But Davis Riley with a 82-80 for his weekend. Hopefully his next trip to Augusta goes better. But the story is Rory, 11 under through 17. Again, of course, we were all well aware of his disappointments over the years at Augusta, all those near misses, just needed the green jacket for the career Grand Slam, got it last year, beating Justin Rose in a playoff, and now is just swaggering around the grounds like he owns it. And he's at 11 under. He is in the fairway on 18, so shouldn't have too much difficulty at least holding it at 11 under, but the way he's been playing on the back nine, maybe he gets it to 12. Takes a 6-shot lead into the weekend in English. 6-shot lead in the weekend. Then I don't know who's going to catch him. That's going to be one of those things. If he just holds it in the road, I don't know who's going to go get him.
Yeah.
So, maybe we see a Rory coronation, and a rarity in Masters history. Not many have repeated as Masters champions. Can you guess the 3? These are names you would know. These are names anybody would. Well, 2 of them are names anybody would know. Tiger is one. Tiger repeated in 01 and 02.
The other.
There's 2 others.
Are they older?
Yes.
Jack Nicklaus.
Yep, that's the other one everybody knows. 65 and 66. And this one was on TV for a really long time.
You got me there.
Sir Nick Faldo, 1989 and 1990.
Again, only one happened after
you were alive.
I was born.
No, I understand. But those are the 3 golfers who won back-to-back green jackets. Rory got a real inside shot at making 4. But very cool to see that Gary Woodland made the weekend. Obviously, everything he's been through, having to win 2 weeks ago at Houston just to get in. The fact that he gets to play the weekend is awesome. And hope to catch as much of him playing as possible with the extended streaming coverage that's available for this tournament this weekend. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, You know who else is scoring low numbers lately? The Royals. We'll talk about them next on 580 Sports Talk. .545 on 580 Sports Talk, and we have some breaking transfer portal news for K-State men's basketball. Dushawn London on X for 24/7 Sports had it first. Kansas State has received a commitment from Colorado State transfer guard Brandon Recksteiner, who averaged 12 points on 40% shooting from three this past year, also 2.5 assists and 2 rebounds per game. Previously also at Virginia Tech for a year before spending last year in Fort Collins. Brandon has a brother who plays college football. His father is Scott Recksteiner, and if that doesn't sound familiar, drop the wreck. His father is professional wrestling legend Scott Steiner. Big Papa Pump. We got a chance to get Big Papa Pump in the front row at Bramlage Coliseum next year. You want to tell me that won't get the crowd hype? We got to get him out there in the chainmail, flexing those pythons. Big Papa Pump's got the hookup. His kid is going to K-State, Brandon Recksteiner, a 6'1", 190-pound guard who could shoot the tray. Scott Steiner's son going to K-State. Royals baseball tonight. First pitch, a little less than an hour. Pre-game coverage starting top of the 6 o'clock hour here on 580 WIBW. The Royals and the White Sox, game 2 of a 4-game set. Royals dropped the opener 2-0 last night. Chris Bubich is on the mound tonight. And I think Bubich would probably be the first to admit he hasn't been his best his first 2 starts this season. The ERA is not too ugly, 4.09. He struck out 12 in 11 innings. That's all good. Problem has been sequencing. Unable to squash rallies last time out against Milwaukee. Ended up giving 4 runs in his 5 innings of work despite 8 strikeouts. And all of those 4 runs, I believe, came with 2 outs in the inning. So Bubich has to do a better job finishing off innings, pitching his way out of jams. And right now, with the way the Royals offense is going or isn't, just isn't a whole lot of margin for error for him or any Royals pitcher. So it's a tough position to come at things from. Davis Martin is the starting pitcher for the White Sox tonight. Right-hander, having a good start to his season. A 2.45 earned run average. Has won both of his starts against Miami and Toronto. 6 shutout innings against the Blue Jays his last time out. 12 strikeouts in his 11 innings of work. So against a righty, the Royals load up with lefties. Michael Garcia will lead off at third base, followed by Bobby Witt Jr. at short, and Vinny Pasquantino at first. Then Salvador Perez behind the plate catching. Carter Jensen is the DH. Michael Massey gets the start at second base tonight. He'll bat 6th. Jack Caglione bats 7th in right field. Isaac Collins is in left field batting 8th. Kyle Isbell in center field batting 9th. For the White Sox tonight, Chase Mydroth leads off at second base. Miguel Vargas at third. Munetake Murakami at first base. Edgar Caro, will do the catching and bat cleanup. Lenin Sosa is the DH. Colson Montgomery will bat 6th and play shortstop. Luis Angel Acuna in center field. Tristan Murray in left. Derrick Hill in right. 2 teams that bat their outfield in the 7, 8, 9 spots in the order, which is not typically where you like to bat your outfielders. You'd prefer that they were providing a little bit more offense for you. But that's just where both of these teams are here in this early stage of the season. The other pitching matchups this weekend, Michael Wacha goes Saturday for the Royals against Eric Fetty. Noah Cameron will go against to be determined for the White Sox on Sunday. They had to make some roster moves, send somebody to the injured list. So I don't believe they have revealed who their starter Sunday will be. Look, the way the Royals are throwing the ball right now, they're going to have a chance. It just needs to bust out. Bobby Witt Jr.'s got to get a hit with runners in scoring position. Vinny Pasquantino's got to pop one over the wall. Jack Caglione's got to drive in a run. It just has to erupt. Hitting can be contagious. Not hitting can also be contagious. And I think the Royals are definitely in one of those spells where not hitting feels a little bit contagious for them right now. So it won't take them much. They don't need to score 10, I don't think, to win any of these games. Only the White Sox offense is that good. I don't think they need to score 10. But if they can put some good at-bats, put some innings together, get off that schneid with runners in scoring position, they can still turn this into a successful weekend. But, boy, it's been hard to watch them swing the bats the last 3 times out, that's for sure.
Give me 9 runs over 3 days, and I think you win.
Depending on how you spread them out.
That's true.
But the
give me 3 runs a game, you win.
Like, that almost feels like you can do that against this White Sox lineup. There's just not a lot of punch to it. As long as you keep the ball in the ballpark, keep it on the ground, keep them hitting to the left side of the infield, there's just, not a lot to that White Sox lineup. It's not going to take much. Royals need to quit swinging for the 10-run home run every time they're up there. Tonight will also be the debut of the new uniforms, the new City Connect uniforms. Reviews have not been very positive as I've been able to discern them. Most people I've heard from do not like them. I asked my wife what she thought of them, and her first reaction was, that looks like a Barbie outfit. Like, it looks like baseball Ken would wear like that sort of like color gradient.
Yeah.
So that was her review of the uniform. But I'm gonna tell you what, if they go out and they pound the ball tonight and they win like 7-2, people will like them. And they might not look like something you might want to wear yourself, but I think they're gonna look good on the field. I do. I think they're gonna look fine on the field. Rory's birdied 18. He is now 6 shots ahead of the field. Wow. Going into the weekend at Augusta. He had a dart of an approach in 18, trickled in about a 6-footer for his birdie. So he went, trying to pull up his card here. He came in with 4 straight birdies and went 31 on the back 9, and that was with a bogey on 10.
Jeez.
He is feeling it. Rory taking this advice, and the Royals should take this advice as well from the 785. Just stop forcing it and have some fun. I do. I feel like the Royals been a little tight offensively. Let it loose in those new uniforms tonight and hopefully get back on the winning track. We'll take a break. When we come back, the final word is next. Time for the final word on this edition of 580 Sports Talk. Spencer Dupuis, what you got?
We got a little bit of time. I got time for a little half and half here. Final word for me, part 1. I think if the Royals can just get a few things going this weekend, you just got to put 1 and 2 together, man. Like, this is not a good team they're facing, and I just mentioned in that prior segment, give me 3 runs a game for the next 3 games, and I think you take the series 3-1, and I think that gives you confidence back offensively. You build on that confidence and you put it towards the rest of the season, because, man, it's a young season. You certainly aren't going to lose it, and certainly not going to miss the playoffs just because you had a bad first couple of weeks of the season. Also, final word, part 2 for me. If you get a chance, TN or ABC tomorrow after 2 p.m., turn on Caps Penguins. It might be Alex Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby's 1 of 2 final go of it. They also play Sunday afternoon at 2:00 on TNT. I don't know, but the NHL's been posted on social media like Alex Ovechkin's going to retire, and I don't know if I'm okay with that.
No, I understand that, man. Yeah, it might be one of the last times to catch a grade 8 on national TV, because they're not going to make playoffs.
If they win out and they get help,
okay,
they got to win 3 games and get help.
They'd be comfortably in the Western Conference.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, the Eastern Conference.
I know.
The Eastern Conference has been a beast this year. The Western Conference has been like 3 great teams, and the rest is just mud. Like the 3 best teams are all in the West.
I think they'd be second in a division.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that. Final word for me today. The fix for the Royals is simple. Their best hitters have to hit. In the end of the day, nobody's lineup. I don't care what team you are. I don't care who your manager, your hitting coach is, what ballpark you play in, whether it's cold or hot, what the dimensions of your fences are. Your best players don't play like your best players. You are going to struggle to generate enough runs. We already know that the depth on this Royals lineup is a little bit iffy or a work in progress at best. That means Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, and Salvador Perez are really, really important to this operation, and they better start hitting like it, because if they don't, then the sense of urgency in April will only increase, and that's not really when you want to have a sense of urgency. Royals baseball all weekend. We hope you enjoy it. We'll be back on Monday from 3 until 6. For Spencer, I'm Dan. This has been 580 Sports Talk. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good night.